Hey everyone. Getting your students' grades into their report cards using Aeries can be a real pain in the neck if you've never done it before. So we put this video together to hopefully help your experience with the process be a little less painful. Before heading to your report cards, you should ensure that all of your assignments are marked grading complete and that they have been associated with the correct standards. When you eventually get to your report cards, the standard applicable to each grading area will be listed. We found that for a number of our assignments, we had been adding standards from the SDC categories when we should have been exclusively using the TR categories. If assignments have incorrect standards applied, then they will not contribute toward your students' grades. Once you're confident that your assignments have been correctly configured, go to the main menu in Aeries and go to Standards-Based Grades. Once there, you'll want to select Load Grades from Gradebook. If you go through this process without checking Override Existing Marks, then only new grades not already imported to the report card will be added. If, at the end of the import process, you found you've made some mistakes, as we did, then you may repeat the import process, in which case you should ensure to select the Override Existing Marks checkbox. On Step 2, select the gradebooks which will be loaded into the report card. By default, all will be selected. Leave Step 3 at the default. Step 4 is very important, as this is where we determine which letter marks will appear on the report card based on their percentage scores within the gradebook. It is very important to note that there are several sections of the report cards that use the outstanding, good, and in need of improvement marks. By default, these marks have no percentages applied to them, meaning that after your grades are imported, you will have no grades for categories that use these marks. We found that these values work for us, but feel free to put in your own percentage brackets. Once you're happy with your percentage bracket assignments, you may proceed to Step 5, which will be a preview associating the various standards with your gradebooks and your student percentage scores for each student, if you wanted to scroll all the way down. If you scroll all the way to the right, the letter marks in yellow will be what will appear on your students' report cards. If you're satisfied with what you see, return towards the middle top and select Import Grades. Once you have been returned to your first student's report card, the import process has been completed. You should review the report card to ensure that a letter mark appears in each drop-down. The co-curricular areas of physical education, technology, visual and performing arts, as well as all learning skills, use the outstanding, good, or in need of improvement marks. In my example, this student does not have a grade for uses time effectively. I could manually select a single value, but if one student has no grade at all in this area, it's possible that others might as well. Check another one. Yep. So that indicates that something is amiss with that particular assignment. So let's troubleshoot that. First, I want to go review that assignment and ensure that it has been configured correctly. While the learning skills are not normally assignments, to facilitate importing these scores into the report card, we created a learning skills gradebook and added a single assignment for each of those areas. So when considering this particular learning skill, we decided we really couldn't gauge how effectively the students were using their time through remote learning. So our intent was to give a not applicable grade to all of the students. I can see here that grading has been completed, and if I click on the assignment to view its standards, the standard has been correctly assigned. So since my assignment seems to be correct, what could be the problem? Let's go back to the student-based grades again. And I'll reload the grades from Gradebook. I'll overwrite, and I know I want to get to Step 4, where I can set up my breakdown. And I think I found the problem. My in need of improvement bracket has a low value of 1%, while my not applicable has zeros. It would make sense to me to just take the 0. I've got a sense that the system is being very particular and probably wants me to make sure that I've got everything covered. So I'll put in everything from 0 to 0.99%. I've got a suspicion this will be the fix. It's annoying, but I think it'll work. So I'll go to Next, And while I'm here in the review for my student, under Learning Skills, uses time effectively, I'll scroll over. And now I have a value, a 0%, and I do see the NA. So I know that that will be reflected on the student's report card. Scroll to the top and re-import. And now I see the desired value. So after we banged our heads on this for about an hour and a half, we finally got it figured out. If you miss something along the way and need to go back and make changes to your assignments, there's no problem with you re-importing your grades to your report cards and simply overwriting the current marks. Do that as many times as you need. Probably the most important thing that we learned was that ensuring that all of our assignments were marked as grading complete and associated with the correct standards would have saved us a lot of headache. Hopefully this was of help to at least some of you, and here's looking forward to a less stressful second trimester.